So now, we good on that. So now, when Moses was telling the Israelites, y'all just came out of Egypt. If you don't obey God, you're going to go back into Egypt with ships. What did they think about? Were they thinking about pyramids and sphinxes and stuff? What did they think about? They were thinking about slavery. They were thinking about working, getting their backs beat in the sun, giving free labor. That's what they thought about. They thought about captivity, slavery. Right? So read Deuteronomy 28:6 again. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
But Moses said, this time you're going to go on ships. Meaning, you're not going to go on foot like the way we went in the last time. You're going to go by ships. That goes with this point. Read that.
This is from the book called Creole, New Orleans, Race and Americanization, page 6867. Between June 1719 and January 1731, 16 slave trading ships arrived in Louisiana from the Senegal region. 6 ships came from Judah, a slave trading post on the Gulf of Benin and Dahomey.
So now, Judah is one of the tribes of Israel, which you know, right? Those ships came from the land of Judah, right? Which was in Africa. We settled in Africa. We established our own land. They came and conquered us there and put us on ships and brought us to Louisiana. We poured it all throughout this side of the world. Okay, on this side of the hemisphere, right? So now, give me that, huh? Right, the Dahomey Jews. Because it wasn't just black. They say that, give me the Bible dictionary real quick and give me Ham. They say that blacks sold blacks into slavery. No, that's not what happened. Because if that's the case, then whites put whites in the Holocaust. They don't say that. They don't say whites put whites in the Holocaust. They say the Nazis put Jewish people in the Holocaust.
That's right.
Right? They put them in, furnaces. Concentration camps and put them in furnaces, right? So, was that white people did that to white people? No, they make a distinction between the Nazis and the Jewish people, right? Which they're not Jews at all, right? But we don't do that they don't do that when it comes to black folks being afflicted in history. They say y'all did that to yourselves. That's how they try to demean what we went through. But that's not what happened. Watch this.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. The definition of Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood.
So now Noah had 3 sons. Remember the earth was flooded during Noah's time. He had 3 sons, right? Ham, Shem, Japheth. We're reading about Ham right now. Go ahead.
And one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor.
The progenitor means the father of
the dark races.
So the dark races, all the dark races came from Ham, which is a lie. Because how the hell you have a dark son and you ain't dark yourself? How does Ham become the progenitor of dark races and his father wasn't dark? And his brothers wasn't dark? I look just like my brothers. Right? So how is it that two brothers was white and he was dark? That's lies. Right? Read on.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
But watch this. Here we go.
Not the Negroes.
But the Negroes don't fit in that category. Don't they call us Negroes?
Right.
Who are the Negroes today? That's us here in America, the ones who work in slavery. Hey, my brother, what's your name? Yolonzo. What's up, brother? Hey, my name's Uriah. Hey, we're going over Deuteronomy 28 to 68 verse, talking about how the Israelites went into slavery on way of slave ships, right? And when we talk about who went into slavery on slave ships, that only happened to who? Who went into slavery by way of slave ships?
Black folks.
Black folks. So that must mean that black folks fit the prophecy written in the Bible, meaning that they are the Israelites.
That's right.
You ever heard that before?
I'm not gonna lie, I have not read Deuteronomy. I know it's the law, but I have not read it.
Okay, watch this. Here we go. Read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
Bring it out.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So now, when it says Egypt, what just happened? They got Exodus out of Egypt, right? Let my people go. Pharaoh, right? They came out of Egypt. What was they doing in Egypt? They were serving bondage and slavery, right? So when they heard, oh, you're going to go back into Egypt if you don't obey my commandments, They said, oh, we're going back into slavery? They wasn't thinking about pyramids and sphinxes and whatever else was going on in Egypt, right? They only thought about the condition that they was living in during that time, right? But he said, this time you're going to go into Egypt by way of ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Now hold up, that's a heavy point. Because give me that in Exodus 14. He says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou will not see it any more again. What is he referring to? He says, by the way I told you already, you're not going to see it. What did he tell them they weren't going to see? Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 13.
Bring it out.
And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord.
Because this is right before they walked through the Red Sea and left Egypt. Watch this.
Which he was shown to you this today. For the Egyptians,
For the Egyptians,
whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
so now hold up. He said, you're never going to see these Egyptians. You're not going back into Egypt again. But yet when we move further on into the curses, go back to Deuteronomy 28:68, he says you're going to go into Egypt again. But by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Meaning you're not going to go into actual Egypt. It's a spiritual Egypt you're going to go into. Because when you read in Revelations, even Revelations 11 and 8, when you get to the book of Revelations, they call a certain place spiritual Egypt. Meaning what? This place would have the same spiritual characteristics of Egypt. The way Egypt was built off of slave labor, another place will be built off of slave labor. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which is spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
So this is not actual Sodom and Egypt, but it's called spiritual Sodom and Egypt, meaning it has the same characteristics. Now, when I look around in America, it's a lot of sodomy, homosexuality. Right? And guess what? America was built based upon slavery. When you look on the back of the money, you got pyramids, all seeing eyes, all type of things that denote back to Egypt.
That's right.
Because why? America used Egypt as a blueprint to build its country.
That's right.
Period. They built it off of Rome and Egypt. Right? So now, go back to Deuteronomy 28:16. Read that again.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
So when we go into slavery by way of ships, we won't see that Egypt again no more. Read.
And there
Once you get off of those slave ships, when you get there,
ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
now hold up now. Look at this right here. What happened here? What's going on here? These are called auction slave blocks. They put us on slave blocks and they auctioned us off. Nigga sold to Master Charles in Louisiana. Nigga sold to Master Johnson in Texas. Nigga sold to Master Williams in Virginia. They sold us off, right? So now, they put these signs up to advertise the selling of Negroes.
Right.
Why did they put that up? Because why? The Bible prophecy had to come to pass.
Right.
If the greatest atrocity known to humankind was the transatlantic slave trade, which wasn't no trade at all, it was a slave holocaust, right? When that happened, don't you think God would write about it in his Bible, a book of prophecies? He had to have wrote about it. It's a book of prophecy. This is the biggest atrocity that's ever happened in human history.
Bring it out.
The Holocaust don't even compare to what happened, but they want us to remember that. They want us to forget what we went through. Why? Because they don't want us to know who we are according to the Bible.
That's right.
Read on.
And ye shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Now, for bondmen and bondwomen. Now, jump to verse 37. Watch this. Here's another curse. Read.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
Now, if you call it a byword, that means your God-given name that God gave you, you're not going to be called that no more. A byword is you called outside of your name, right? So now, when you get called black, Negro, African American, where can I find those names in the Bible that God gave you? It's not there. God gave different names in the Bible, but yet our names was changed. Because when we would go into slavery, go back to Jeremiah 17:4. Hold your thumb and you're going to see it coming back. Jeremiah 17:4. When you go to this Bible and you read the Old Testament, you start to see God talking about nationhood, nationality, separation of and dividing of nations. But when you go to Christianity, all of a sudden they tell you, oh, everybody got to come together. Well, if everybody got to come together, why was everybody separated in the first place?
Right.
Right? Well, why is everybody coming together looking like white supremacy? Why? We got to start analyzing these things and reading the scriptures from the beginning to the end. You don't start no book at the middle.
Right.
You don't start no book at the end.
Right.
But in Christianity, everything is backwards. It's a lie. Christianity is anti-Bible. It's against the Bible, period.
Right.
Watch, read this.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy inheritance that I gave thee.
If you go to the store and you looking for your favorite drink and they say, oh, it's been discontinued, that means they don't sell it no more. It's gone. It's not it. You're not going to find it. Right? God said we would discontinue from our heritage.
Right.
That's the food you eat, the language you speak, the land, the country that you came from. That's the customs and the days that you worship on.
Right.
Right? All of those things will be discontinued. But how? Watch this.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Because why? When we came over here to serve, you see Roots? They told Toby, they said, you know what? Your name ain't Kuta Kinte. Your name is what?
Right.
Toby.
Right.
They changed our names. And guess what? Whatever language Toby and them spoke when they came from the continent of Africa, guess what? They started to speak English. Now you gotta learn English.
Right.
And guess what? Whatever God you worship over there, guess what? You're gonna worship over here.
Right.
White Jesus, a God that don't look nothing like you, that don't resemble you no way, shape, or form.
Right. Right.
Right? This is where they were taking slaves. In 70 AD, we were here in Jerusalem, and we fled over here to Africa, fleeing from them because they were persecuting us and chasing us. We fled over this Bible prophecy. I can show you that in the New Testament. We'll get to that. But understand, we was taken from. Oh, is this not the east coast of Africa? We was taken from over here too.
Right.
They was hunting down Hebrews.
Right.
They was hunting down real Jews.
Right. Right.
Right? All right. Give me that in Babylon and Timbuktu real quick.
Get it right now.
I want page 84. So now, read that scripture. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46.
Bring it up.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
Hold up. What does a sign do? The golden arches tell us that's what? That's McDonald's over there. Right? Walmart sign tells you, oh, that's Walmart. A sign tells you what something is.
Right.
If you're going to be discontinued from your heritage or called a byword, meaning you have no recollection of where you come from, right? Who your ancestors are, who your people are, God has going to give you a sign so that way you can learn who you are.
Right.
One day you're going to come back, you're going to leave a sign. All of these curses that you read in Deuteronomy 28:68, those are signs pointing to who you really are. Right? Read on.
And for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Until we realize who we are. That's the forever. Right? So, the going into slavery by way of slave ships, sold on auction blocks once you get off the slave ships,
Right.
man and woman, losing your identity. We only read a few. It's 68 verses here. Right? Verse 1 through 15 talks about the blessings if we did right. 15 on down talks about the curses if we did wrong.
Right.
If we broke God's commandments. We broke them. So now here we are in America serving slavery. This is like the Matrix. We don't even know. You getting unplugged right now. You getting unplugged and getting shown the
Right.
truth.
Right.
So now, watch this. Watch this. Here we go.
This is the book called From Babylon to Timbuktu.
Now this is written by Rudolph R. Wisdom, which is a black historian.
Right. Right.
Right? Watch this.
Page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
That's where the Jews reside. That's where the Jews live. Read.
In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrageous and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period of Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing Roman persecution.
Now hold up. The Jews fled into Africa, over 1 million, right? They just put that number there because they knew it was a lot. So it was over 1 million. It was more than that. But I'm going to tell you this. When Jesus was a baby, and Herod was trying to kill him, and he said, you know what, we don't know who the Messiah baby is, so what we're going to do is we're going to kill all the children from a certain age on down.
Right.
Right? Where did Joseph and Mary take that young baby Jesus to flee and hide? Was it amongst white folks in Rome and Turkey and up north? Or did they flee south into Africa?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know.
You don't know? All right, Matthew 2, verse 13.
Yeah.
Watch this. Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. Read that.
Matthew chapter 2 and verse 13.
Read up.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt.
Flee where?
Into Egypt.
Where black people are. So that way you can hide. Because Herod is trying to kill the baby. Right? So now, when we started to have Roman persecution, where would we flee to? To hide amongst black folks.
Right.
But guess what? You ever been around Africans? There's a difference between Nilotic Africans and Bantu Africans.
That's right.
Right? Nilotic Africans are pure-bred, blooded Hamite Africans.
Right.
Right? The Bantus are our people
Right.
who fled into Africa.
Right.
Can you tell the difference between a black man in America and an African? If you look at him, you can tell the difference, right? The same way the Chinese can tell the difference between the Japanese. They be like, oh, he's Japanese. They can look at him, they can tell the difference between the Korean, right? We can tell the difference. We know, that's an African right there.
Right.
Right? We can tell the difference. So when we fled into Africa, they did not like that. They started to marginalize us and oppress us there.
Right.
So we had to make settlements and different things. And we had to migrate.
Right.
Right? Because we was dealing with certain things in Africa.
Right.
Until the point where they say, you know what? They said black people sold black people into slavery. That's a lie. That's a lie. That didn't happen. Give me that. You know what I want? Joel. That's a lie. That didn't happen. What happened was Nilotic Africans gathered up Bantu Africans, which are two totally different people,
Right.
and sold them off to the white man. That's what happened. I'm reading to you the scriptures. Watch this. Read. Oh, yeah, start at 3.
Joel chapter 3 and verse 3.
Read up.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense on your own head.
Now, Tyre and Sidon, they were Nilotic African tribes, right? Read on.
Verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have
They stole our silver and our gold through persecution. Go ahead.
and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah
Judah are the Jews. Read.
and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
Who are the Greeks? It's white folks.
Right.
Right? So who sold the Jews to the Greeks, to the white man? It says Tyre and Sidon and Palestine.
Right.
Palestine today is occupied by Arabs, but back during this time, it was occupied by black,
That's right.
Nilotic Hamites.
Right.
Okay? Those were the Philistines that you read about in the book of Judges, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, Goliath and them. Those were Philistines,
Right.
right? Who Samson was fighting against.
Right.
Right? Exactly. He was fighting against the Philistines. Those were black people.
Right. Right.
Those were Africans. Did black people sell black people in slavery? No, because not all black people are the same.
That's right.
Just like not all Asian people are the same. Some are the children of Lot. Some are the Some are the children of Ammon, and some are the children of Moab.
Right.
That's what we gotta understand and get
Right.
understood. So now, when we read about Jews fleeing into Africa, we gotta understand. Give me that Jeremiah 14 and 2. We gotta understand something. Jeremiah 14 and 2. I'm gonna show you something about the Jews. You probably never seen this. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2.
Bring it out.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language.
What are they?
They are black unto the ground.
They are black unto the ground. Job 30 and 30. It says the Jews are black. But hold up, when I think about, that's Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2.
Right.
I'm gonna show you another one. Now, you gotta read it in the King James Version. Can't go to the New King James and NIV because what they did was they took it out. Our enemies took that thing out.
Right.
And they put other words, they put, what do you call it? Synonyms, which aren't synonyms at all because what's another synonym for black?
Right.
I mean, black. Right? But they put something else there. Watch this, Job 30 and 30. Watch this.
Job chapter 30 and verse 30.
Yeah.
My skin is black upon me,
His what?
My skin is black upon me.
That's the prophet Job. His skin is black upon him.
Right.
Job.
He went through all the struggle.
Exactly. Black man. Black man. His skin is black upon him.
Right.
Now, hold up. Give me the book of Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. Now we getting real now. Now it's time to cook. Because all over the world, people worship this as Jesus.
What?
This is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We're going to see. Read that.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14.
Bring it out.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Now, when he says his head and his hairs, he's talking about that. The hair on his head and the hairs on his face.
Right.
Well, what? What were they again?
White like wool.
Now, where does wool come from? From sheep, right? Lamb, right? That's where wool come from. Now, are there, does wool only come in the color white? Or are there other color sheep? There's other colors, right? So now we know that white is not talking about exclusive to wool. Because they'll try to say, oh, it's only talking about the color.
Right.
No. Wool comes in many different colors.
Right.
It's giving you the color, and what else is it giving you when it says wool? The texture.
Right.
It's giving you the texture. So now, hey, Benai, come here real quick. Now, when you look at my brother, Officer Benai right here, look at his hair. You can see the white hairs, and you can see the wool. Right? You can see the wool hair, and you can see the white hair.
Right.
And when he starts to age and get a little older, more of them black hairs are going to turn into white hairs.
Right.
And that's what you see when we see Christ. Right? Because this was, what was it, 60 years later, 30-something years? This was years after his crucifixion. He's appearing back into John the Revelator.
Right.
So he's older, right? He has an older appearance. Now watch this. Read on. Read it again from the top. Watch it.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Meaning he was black. Read.
As white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Read.
And his feet.
His feet, because remember he had a long robe on. Where you at?
Jeremiah 13, 30.
14. It's 14 and 2. And then the other one was Job 30 and 30. Yeah. Jeremiah 14 and 2. You see it? They're black, just like this. Because remember, you know why it says unto the ground? Because when Adam was created, God made him from what? The dust of the ground. And what color is the soil? Different shades of brown. Our shades of brown. Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you, you're getting unplugged today, brother. You're getting unplugged from the matrix. All right, here we go. We still here now. Read that again. His feet.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace.
So now, his feet were so black, it looked like he burned in a furnace. When I was a kid and you was too dark skinned, we used to have a joke. Boy, you so black, you look like your mama left you in the oven too long. Wow, mind that we used to say that. That's some spiritual stuff. Listen, I'm telling you, black people are spiritual people.
Right.
Because how are we able to say that and make a joke like that? And our Lord and Savior is described as being as if he was burned in a furnace.
Right.
He was burned in the oven. Ain't that some crazy stuff? So who is this? Who is that? I'm going to show you who that is. Who that Maccabees? You want to walk? I'm going to show you who that is. Because when I was a little boy, I used to go to my big mama house. She had the big old white Bible. You open that Bible up, you see all the images, angels and Jesus and all that stuff. And they all Caucasian.
Right.
They all Caucasian. Right? You see all of that in there and you're like, oh, Jesus is white. The angels are white. God is white. Why did that happen? Why is that in there? But when we read the words, because we never read the words. Let's keep it real. I never read the words until I got older. Right? We read the words, this ain't there. This is more of an image that's there. A black man with white woolly hair.
Right.
But this image is there in our mind because we saw the picture. That's how black people read. We read the picture.
Right.
Watch this. Watch what it says.
First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48.
Now, and during the time of the Maccabees, you had Israelites who were fighting against Greek persecution. The Greeks, which are Caucasians, were coming and trying to Hellenize the Jews. And they were fighting back. Read.
And laid open the book of the law.
That's the Bible.
Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So the heathen took our Bible and started painting their images in it.
That's right.
Wow, it's crazy that we never read this in church and we still worshiping these same images. Reading is a very powerful thing.
Right.
That's why they said, you want to hide anything from a nigga, Put it in a book.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family.